Hey guys, welcome back. Today is a beautiful morning and I thought we need to get out into the cut flower garden. I have to show you the dahlias, the zinnias, the strawflowers, the cosmos. Everything is looking so beautiful. We have reached peak bloom in the cut flower garden and everything is just really showy right now. So I thought perfect day to come out, see all of the beautiful things that are going on in the cut flower garden and just enjoy all of the beauty and all of the color right now. Here is a quick pan over the cut flower garden. You can see everything is in full bloom. We have some things that have slowed down a little bit, like our phlox, which we'll go over there and take a closer look. But the zinnias, the cosmos, can you believe how full those cosmos are? And those are ones that we picked up from Chelsea. I'll give you guys a close look at how those look. But of course, the dahlias, the main ladies, the queen of the cut flower garden, they look stunning right now. We planted the dahlias, I think it was right around end of May, which was a little bit late. Well, I got some of them in early, but I went to Chelsea. We're in England for a couple of weeks. So Sergey ended up planting 2 beds on his own and he did such a great job. I am so OCD about my dahlias. Like nobody gets to cut them. Nobody gets to divide them. Nobody gets to plant them. But this year I was like, well, I'm in a pickle, so he's gonna have to plant 2 of the beds of the dahlias that we have here in the cut flower garden, and he did a great job. So now I'm like, well, maybe next year you can also help me. And he's like, no, thank you. It was too much pressure. But anyways, they ended up coming up rather quickly, and this year we amended each bed with land and sea compost from Espoma. We also amended the beds with biotone starter fertilizer, which honestly, you guys, I think that's like the best thing you can give your dahlias. I really do feel like it makes such a big impact in the way our dahlias start growing. And I was a little bit nervous about the compost because it is a little bit higher in nitrogen, but I think they loved it. Like it really made a difference. All of the plants are so lush and full and green that I will probably be repeating the land and sea compost next year for sure for all of our beds right here in the cut flower garden. There's a lot of new faces on our channel, which welcome. I wanted to give you just a quick rundown of the way we have the cut flower garden set up. So we have these beams that we use to make all of our beds. They are 4x6. So I wanted everything to be very shallow, almost like I was growing on a farm. But because we don't have a farm yet or all of the space yet, I wanted to be able to integrate this type of production into our garden space. So it works because everything is edged off. So it kind of has a formal look to it because everything is nice and boxed in. There's a lot of straight lines. So that is a way for me to incorporate formality, gardening, landscaping, and production cut flowers. We stained all of the beams and I have videos on all of this that I will link down below for you guys. We use a raised bed mix, which is lovely. We just amend it every year with compost, and we have drip irrigation on in each bed. So you see there's the drip line and this is drip tape. So each bed has drip tape and the dahlias are on a different schedule than our other beds. So we have our tomato beds right back here. So this is Sergey's pride and joy back here. These are all of his tomatoes that he grows. We also planted basil in here. Well, not we, I stuck lemon basil all throughout the middle and look at how beautiful it turned out. These we're using in the kitchen, but I'm also using them for filler in our bouquets. So that was the biggest reason why I grew these out. They're very lovely. You can see that they're starting to flower. So I will cut these back. And they've just been going for it. And it was a great combination with the tomatoes and the basil. We will definitely be repeating this again next year. The other question we get asked a lot is, how do we stake our dahlias? We actually have T-posts. We have 6 in each bed, and we use the corral method to corral all of our dahlias. One of the things I've always implemented in our garden is spray painting our T-posts. We just use Rust-Oleum spray paint. I love the effect that this has in the garden. It almost just makes things disappear. So I'm not a big fan of the the white and green T-post. I just think that looks really messy in a cut flower garden space like this. So every year we just spray paint everything. And then we also use this black twine. It's like a what I forget the name of the exact one, but I'll make sure to link it down below. We use this black twine to corral. So we wrap it around each of the T-posts, and then we also zigzag it throughout. Now this year I've been kind of bad about doing the zigzag in the middle, like I did it here, but not in all of the other beds. But it's been fun. I might still need to come in here and do that because they're getting rather tall. But again, using the black, it just makes things disappear, and it's just nice and neat, and it just looks very formal. The other question we get asked a lot is, how far apart do you plant your dahlias? Okay, don't judge, but I fudge the numbers quite a bit when it comes to our dahlias and our cut flowers because I'm trying to maximize the space that I have with all of them. Again, the beds are 4 feet wide and 16 feet long on the inside, so they're a little bit bigger if you measure the outside with the beams. But anyways, so I typically plant our dahlias like 9 to 10 inches apart, sometimes a little bit closer. And it works. I don't recommend that for everybody, but you have to understand that I am out here in my cut flower garden every single day. I am constantly removing some of the lower leaves. I am making sure that there's no disease. I try to make sure that they have enough airflow by removing some of those leaves. And so it's a constant, I would say, maintenance in terms of keeping an eye out for anything going on in our cut flower garden. So I get away with planting things really closely. Now with our other beds, like our zinnias, our cosmos, our celosia, everything like that, I also tend to plant those rather close, about 8 inches apart for all of those. And it works. I mean, at the end of the season, we are going to be getting powdery mildew. It's just the name of the game. It happens every year. And I don't get too worried about it at the end of the season. But it's one of those things that you need to keep in mind. If you are new to growing dahlias and zinnias and all of those things, I would recommend planting them a little bit further apart. So with your dahlias, you can do 12 inches. With your zinnias, you can do 9 inches. In the cut flower garden, we've also incorporated some containers. We have an olive tree here. We are definitely going to be coming in with some more containers throughout the cut flower garden just to utilize some of this open space. We have a little table here that we love to have our tea and coffee. It's a little table that we picked up at IKEA, and I absolutely love it. We also have some herb, like a little herb garden right here on the corner. So we will probably continue doing things like that throughout the cut flower garden. We can definitely fit in some more containers throughout here, which is something we love to do. And at each corner of the cut flower garden, we have hops. So let me show you. We have hops growing up each pillar. And then we also have lights, which is really lovely in the evening time. I'll see if I can pop up a picture for you guys of how magical this cut flower garden space is in the evening time. It's so fun to come out here and cut things in the evening. And the hops are just such a great addition to the garden because we can use them for arrangements. And that was the biggest reason why I wanted to plant them, because they make for such a lovely filler. Since we're back here, let's start out with the zinnias. Now the zinnias have been performing beautifully this year. I usually plant our zinnias right over here next to our dahlias, but this year I wanted to plant them on the far end bed, and I think it worked out really beautiful. We have a bunch of new varieties that we grew out this year from Johnny Seeds. We did a full video on reviewing every single variety that we planted in our garden. So if you guys want to watch that, I'll make sure to link it down below. I highly recommend it, especially if you're gearing up to start planning your cut flower garden next year. We really did an in-depth look at each individual variety. This is one of the new varieties this year from Johnny Seeds. This is agave, and just look at how beautiful these cactus zinnias have been. There's a lot of variation in color. I am loving these corally pink ones right here. These are so stunning. They have oranges. Look at that. So bright and beautiful. And then of course, probably my favorite color palette, that really creamy, rich, peachy color right there. There's a lot of the Baneri series back here as well. And then in the front, we have some of Florette and Dawn Creek, which we are going to be ordering more, or actually we already have. If you guys didn't get on their sale, I think there's still some varieties left. I'll make sure to link down the site below. This is Dawn Creek Blush. That is a stunner. I have been loving this one so much. We also have Florette's Golden Hour, which is probably my favorite variety, I think, that she's bred. I mean, it It's so beautiful. You get these really deep, these are all pretty new, but you get these really deep, rich tones, golden tones. So I absolutely love those. And then of course, the ballerina mix from Johnny Seeds. I think this one has been extremely popular this year. It has been vigorous. It is one that I will for sure be growing out this next year. The flowers are very consistent, a lot of doubles. Most of them actually, I would say, are doubles. So you're getting a lot of petal count, like this one right here. And they're big. Look at that. They're big, big, big flowers. This is definitely one that I have been using as a focal flower in arrangements this year. Highly recommend. Very vigorous. Super, super pleased with how these have done. Zinnias are one of the easiest to grow flowers. So if you are new to growing flowers, I promise you, you will not fail at growing zinnias. I will be here holding your hand all the way through, but they're so easy. You can direct seed them. I like to start ours indoors. We did start some of them outdoors this year. Great experiment, but I think for us, we have to just start them indoors because I want to be diligent about things growing where they need to without worrying about critters moving our seeds around. But anyways, they're very reliable. They don't require a lot of maintenance. I make sure we pinch them every year. That way they just get bigger and bigger. We constantly keep them cut so they just continue blooming for us. But again, super easy flower to grow. They're probably my top 5 for sure of easiest flowers to grow. So if you're new to growing flowers and you want to get into it, put zinnias on your list. All right, bed number 2, we started out with phlox, lacy flower, and tweedia. The tweedia I have been loving. I will say it has not been super productive for me. I don't know if it just needs more light. Maybe we need to plant it closer up. But you cannot beat those sweet little blue flowers. Look at that. And they also have the most interesting seed pods. Look at this. Isn't this so cool? So I'm going to let these go to seed. I'm going to save some seeds from those. And then the lacy pink flowers, these have been really good. I just recently cut everything back, so it looks a little sparse over here. But these have been great. We also grew the lacy blue. However, it's kind of a jungle in here, so I don't know where they are. And then we have the caramel cherry phlox, which one of my favorites, super easy to grow from seed. You can also buy plugs for these. We are going to be growing a ton more of these out next year into the landscape. They are so reliable. They're beautiful. I think they make such a beautiful bedding annual. They're just lovely. That is another thing about me if you're new here. I like to grow a lot of cut flowers in our landscape just because I want to maximize all of the space that we have to grow a ton of really beautiful flowers. So phlox is a really great one to add to the landscape. There's a lot of different varieties of dahlias that I love for the landscape. Let's see, cosmos are also good, but you kind of have to space them a little bit apart because they do get nice and tall. Zinnias, 100%, those look great in the landscape. And also celosia. Not every variety I think looks great, but a lot of them look great. Also amaranth. I love amaranth tucked in like behind a tree or next to some shrubs, especially towards the end of the season when they start to really fill in and kind of start cascading over. I think they're so interesting. So if you don't have a designated cut flower space, think about planting them out into your garden. Okay, next up we have our straw flower. I only grew, oh gosh, maybe like 6 plants of these, and they did great. I mean, we have been harvesting straw flowers for weeks, and they have been so vigorous. Look at that, a little heart. How sweet is that? They have been so productive for us this year. I also have some zinnias tucked throughout random areas because these are ones that I saved seed from that I am observing. So if you see some of them kind of mixed throughout, that's what's going on there. Of course, we did a lot of pincushion flower, scabiosa. These are probably one of my favorites. Highly recommend. These are super expensive to buy in the grocery store or from the florist. So if you can grow them yourself, I highly recommend it. Again, we've cut these back quite a bit, so they're looking a little bit sparse. And then we have our celosia. I didn't grow as many this year as I intended to. So next year we're definitely going to spice it up with more of them, because last year I grew a whole bed of them, olive florets, celosia, and they're absolutely beautiful. This year I just kind of tucked them throughout the garden, kind of sporadically. I do have some here that I also saved seed from. So these are not ones from a specific mix, but these are ones that I let be open pollinated. So I just wanted to see what different varieties we're going to get out of it. I think, for example, like this one was open pollinated seeds that I saved last year. I think this really dull yellow was another one. I think this whole row here actually might have been seeds that I've saved from last year. And then we grew lisianthus, not as many as I wanted to. I was kind of late to order the plugs for them. These are ones that we grew from seed ourselves, which I don't want to brag, but I feel like such a cool person because I have been growing lisianthus successfully from seed for the last few years, and it makes me so happy. I just don't get them out quick enough. So super proud of how these are doing. I should have staked them up or planted them a little bit closer, but that's okay. Next year, I definitely want to designate more room for lisianthus. These are other flowers that I also recommend for the landscape. And real quick, you guys, this is another zinnia I saved seed that I have been observing. This is one single plant. Like this is one plant. Isn't that incredible? Like what a crazy, crazy performer it has been. All right, let's get to the cosmos. I, of course, forgot the name of these, but I will make sure to pop it up on the screen as soon as I pull up the seed packet. These are ones that we got from Chelsea. These are brand new this year. They have never been grown out here. They're brand new, and I am absolutely obsessed with them. These are the only varieties that I grew out into our cut flower garden because I want to save seed from these, because they're so beautiful. I don't know if we're gonna offer the seeds for these this next year, but oh my gosh, these have been darling. And they start out kind of small, like that, right there. And then as they age, they just get bigger and bigger. And here's something cool. You guys are the first to see this, okay? Let me show you. Don't tell anybody, it's a secret. Look at this one that I found recently out here. Look at that. That is so cool. I'm definitely saving seeds from this plant, and it's just one plant that has it. Oh, hold on. Cucumber beetle. We squished them. Okay, that's better. So it starts out almost like a double. Do you see how interesting that is? Look at that. And then as they open up, they look like this, which I think is fascinating. I'm obsessed. And then here's also another one that we found out here. Look at that beauty. That's cool. So we're gonna save seed from this one too. So I have to cover some of these up before they open so the bees don't pollinate it or cross-pollinate with some of the other ones. But just look at how beautiful that is, you guys. I'm obsessed with these. It's definitely been fun to watch and observe these grow. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but cosmos are also one of my favorite flowers. And I have always wanted to get into breeding these because I think they're so fun. They add that like ethereal, whimsical look to any bouquet. And I think they're underrated. And I don't think they should be because they're absolutely gorgeous in a bouquet. And again, out in the landscape, I adore cosmos. Let's get into the dahlias. We will be doing a separate video on my top 10. That is something that I like to do every year, is give you my picks of the ones I think you should grow out into your garden. And every year as we bring new varieties, the list changes. A quick note on the dahlias. Last year we grew out, I think it was 250 different varieties and about 415 plants. This year we brought down our varieties down to 161. And we planted out, I think we started out at 422 plants, and slowly that's come down. Some of them just didn't bloom, some of them rotted, some of them looked a little bit suspicious. So we start out high, and then towards the end of the season, it gets a little bit lower. Next year, we're planting even more because I want to start accounting for all of the ones that we lose due to weather or things just don't bloom, anything like that, or anything that looks diseased. We also cull and get rid of right away. So next year is going to be another really big year for dahlias in our garden. We're definitely going to start out a ton more and plant more into our landscape, which I'm very excited about. So in our beds, I tried to color block each bed. However, it did get a little bit lost in the last two beds over there because that's when I left for England, and so I didn't have a ton of time to really color code everything as best as I could. And I won't lie, a lot of these are new to me this year, so I am not like 100% positive on the different varieties. We did lose quite a few unicorns this year, and it's just due to like weather or things maybe rotted because it was too wet. Who knows? I mean, these things happen. I'm never, you know, super upset. I mean, of course it hurts to lose a tuber that's, you know, $50, but it's one of those things that you kind of have to account for when you are buying some of those rare varieties, that these things can happen. But out here, let's start out here. We have River Mill Summer Haze to the left. In the middle, we used to have Holly Hill Pollyanna. That one did not bloom. And then over here, we have Lee's Cupid. Now, this one is new to us. And it's funny because it is just it varies a lot in the way it's blooming. So you can see here's one that's fully orange and they're kind of smaller. But here's one. This is what it's supposed to look like. You see how it kind of glows? It's kind of like a creamy white with the centers being almost like a little orange. It almost looks iridescent. It's so pretty. And then RM Summer Haze is just beautiful. It has almost like a little purple center. I will say these have been blowing open a little bit more quickly than I anticipated. Not all of them, just some of them. And some of the blooms are huge and some of these are a little bit smaller. But overall, super excited about these. They're absolutely beautiful. I would say probably one of my favorites this year. It's just been so fun to grow this one out. Back here is another one that I absolutely loved last year and also this year. I think it's Domanion Barberry. Really does have a glowing effect to it. It's a good producer. This one was a little bit late to bloom, but nonetheless, it's absolutely gorgeous. Lakeview Peach Fuzz has been beautiful, super productive, sweet blooms. I think these are about maybe, I would say about 3 inches across. Their petals are lacinated, and this one has been one of my favorites this year as well. And right over here, we also have Hapat Champagne. Beautiful flower. These are very exciting. Let me see, here's a good one right here. They almost look like a cupcake. I don't know why, but I feel like this is something a ballerina would wear on her head. I just think these are so stunning. Big blooms, nice sturdy stems. They do face upwards like this, so they're actually really fun to arrange with. They are big, but you can still arrange with them. And these are definitely ones that I want to grow more out of. We're definitely going to be dividing all of these, so I would love to plant several more of these because they're so beautiful. So stunning. Now here is one I did not order. This was supposed to be Fiona, and I have no idea what this is. It's funny because it starts out, let's see if this one, like, I don't know. It's not one that I think I'm going to keep in the cut flower garden. It definitely isn't actually, because it opens up. This is how it starts. You see that? And then it does this. Like, it's pretty. I don't know if it's a spore. I have no idea. I have no idea what this is, but it's not one that I selected at all. I mean, it's pretty and I think it'll look cute in the landscape, but it's just not one I think is worth keeping because the center it just opens up right away. So not the biggest fan of this one in terms of performance. Right over here, we have a block of Labyrinth. I think this is one that everybody should grow. It's productive. It's reliable. It blooms like crazy. When you have these out in the landscape and you give them extra room, they get massive. And the coloring on this one is absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend this one. Right here, we have Creamy. Cute little creamy yellow color to it. I'm just making sure we don't have any. I'm seeing a little bit of pest damage, but nothing too crazy right now. Let's see, who else do I want to show you in this bed? Right here we have 20th Avenue Softer Peach. This one is super productive, Absolutely love it. Long, beautiful, sturdy stems, beautiful, creamy, pink, yellow, peachy color. Very reliable. This one I gave to all of my friends last year and they're loving it in their garden. And these actually hold their bloom really well. So they start out, here's one that's a little bit more closed and is just about to open. Here's one that's been open for a very long time. Really great vase life on these ones as well. We have Cafe de Paris back here. This is one that I grew out a couple years ago and I didn't get it back last year. And this year I was able to find a tuber for it. And it's almost like a cafe au lait, but it's supposed to be the smaller version of cafe au lait. This one I also really enjoy. Has a really beautiful coloring to it. Not as productive, I would say, but it's still a really good one. French on honey back here is beautiful. This plant is probably, I would say, 6.5 feet tall, I would say. Super, super long stems, very productive, sturdy stems, and it's just one that I will always grow out into our garden. It might be a little bit hard to tell. Not all of our dahlias are in bloom right now, which is, I think, why we need to do a follow-up, but we have Clearview Peachy back here and also up here. This is also another good, reliable one that we enjoy, and I gave you guys a close-up of this one last year. I definitely recommend that one. Right here we have Bracken Sarah, very beautiful dahlia, one that I also want to grow more of next year. Beautiful coloring, a soft pink outer edges right here, soft yellow center. Highly recommend this one. Here is Darcy, and it's probably one of my favorite golden tone dahlia. Very good producer. They start out a little bit small and they just get a little bit bigger. Oh gosh, I would say this plant's probably 5.5 feet tall. And the stems are nice and long and sturdy on this one as well. Definitely one that I've been reaching for a lot this year. In our second bed here, we have a lot of the peachy pink tones over here. One of my favorite new varieties, this is Holly Hill Daydream. It's a water lily and it is beautiful. It's super, I would say, vibrant when it starts out, and then as it ages, it fades just a little bit. But it has a beautiful shape to it, nice long stems as well. Highly recommend that one if you want to get into water lilies. Right here in the front, we have Peachy Parade. Beautiful dahlia. This one is also new to us this year. We also have 20th Avenue Pink Cloud. This one's staying pretty short. I'm not sure what's going on with this one, but it's also really beautiful. And then over here, obviously one of my favorites, K.A. Peach. Beautiful flower, produced really good tubers last year. It ages really nicely. Here's one that's like on its way out. It's very prolific. Definitely one of my favorites. This is Veron's 1440. This is one that I have been trying to get for a couple of years and I finally got it and I absolutely love it. It has, again, lacinated petals, beautiful flower. I would say it's about 3 inches across, very prolific. Love this one in arrangements. We also have, let's see, where's our Bloom Quest Mojo? Right here. These have been super popular. I think everybody wants to grow Bloom Quest Mojo, and it does not disappoint. This is my first year growing it out. We have, I think, four plants of them throughout here, and it's beautiful, you guys. It has these little speckled tips. It gives it a glowing effect, and it's funny because we're in September now and the temperatures are cooling a bit, which you can get some variation in the coloring of your dahlias. It's pulling in more yellow than it did in the beginning of the season, which I think is very fascinating. Let's see, are any of the other ones blooming? No, I cut them back pretty hard the other day. But anyways, Bloom Quest Mojo, put it on your list. She is beautiful. Right over here, we have Burlesca. Let me just reach out for her. Look at how cute this one is. Small little, I don't know if this is a palm or a ball. I think it might be a ball. But anyways, really cute, prolific little bloomer. Love the coloring on this one. It definitely has more of a smoky tone to it. love this one. Of course, we have Omega here, which is a beautiful, beautiful dahlia. These bigger dahlias I love to grow, and a lot of people don't grow them because it's hard to arrange with them. However, these are the type like Cafe au Lait. Let me think, who else? Any of the Pinhill watermelon or Monarch. Any of those are fun to put in a vase on their own. So don't get discouraged from not growing some of these bigger varieties. I think these are also ones that can go out in the landscape and they would do really, really well. These are a little bit smaller than how they normally are, and it could just be because we're, you know, late September, things are a little bit cooler. Chewy is, I mean, just a beautiful performer. Super prolific, super reliable. Put that one on your list. We have Chewy everywhere in our in our beds here. Let's see, is that another? No, that's just a little spider. I'm just super, super crazy about any beetles in our garden right now. Let's see. Ooh, rhubarb and custard. I finally got her. It took years, but I finally got one. Let's see. Do I have two? No, I only have one. But anyways, it's beautiful, you guys. If you can source one, I recommend it. I don't grow out a ton of collarettes, but there are a few varieties that are very special. This is one of them right here. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's see who else we have. Of course, we have Venus, which you guys know. We're growing more Venus so we can hopefully sell tubers this year. And I know this is one that everybody has been trying to get their hands on. She's super popular right now. Let's see, who else do we have? Bloomquest York. Anytime I make arrangements, people ask, what is this? Reliable. She's not new. She's pretty easy to get. And she's just gorgeous. Let's see, who do we have? Do we have any Copper Boy blooming? No. Well, here's one that's spent. Doesn't look that great. Let's see. You guys know Peaches and Cream. So it's Peaches, letter, and Cream. So not Peaches and Cream. So make sure you know the difference between those. Who else do we want to look at? Cafe au Lait, of course. We have Irish Candy right here, which is another sweet ball variety. This one has been a really good performer for us in the garden this year, and this one is new for us. I think this is Eden's Blush On, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have a tag on this one, and I think that might be it. Maybe you guys know down below if you're growing this one out, but she is gorgeous. Let's see who else we have here. Sandia Brocade, beautiful anemone variety. I think a lot of people have that one. I think this is Pyland's Princess here. I also don't have a tag for this one, but this one is very interesting. Very pretty. It starts out with a little bit more white, and then as it ages, it gets a little bit pinker. That has also been very prolific. I'm just trying to see which ones I've been really like enjoying. There's a lot of them in the garden right now, and I really do need to come out and tag all of them. Here's a really pretty water lily I wanted to show you guys. This is Sandia Bertha, I think, new to us this year, and it's beautiful. Right now it's not blooming quite as much. I wouldn't say it's super prolific, but the blooms are so stunning. Definitely worth growing this out. We also have this really strange one right here called Octopus. I got this one from Dan's Dahlias. And it's just, I don't know, it's one of those that I think I will keep, but it needs to be moved out into the landscape. It's just very different from anything we have growing out in the garden right now. But if you want something that's a little bit obscure and odd, then get Octopus, because that one is really cool. And then I think this one back here is Urchin. And this one is really nice. Let's see if we have one that's a little bit more closed. I think here we go. Or this one's probably more open too. But it's really pretty. I didn't think I was going to like this one, but I actually have. It's been fun to observe this one. I do have Fawn. I don't think she's blooming. And I also have Hapat Old Charm, and that's growing out in the front because I forgot to plant it. Don't judge me. So we have a few of those out front. Look at the bee. Oh, so sweet. Let's see. We do have some seedlings over here that are also, they're not blooming yet, but I'm excited to show you guys those. I think this one is getting close to going for it. I have Miss Samara here somewhere, but she's not blooming yet. or she did bloom, but she's not blooming right now. Honeydew is looking a little bit more pink than usual right back here. I'm trying to find you guys my Cinder Rose because she is blooming, or she is actually performing better this year than she did last year. But I might have cut her down. Darn. But she was also doing really, really well. We have Blighton Romance back here. This one has been also very nice. I haven't reached for it as much as I thought I would, but it's also very, very nice. Bracken Rose is another favorite of mine. Let me just turn around for you guys to see her. Love Bracken Rose. I think this is one of those dahlias that will never, ever get old. It's just so beautiful. Look at the coloration on that one. It definitely pulls in a lot more pink, and it has kind of like a glowing effect. To me, it just looks like a vintage variety. I'm not sure why, but it's gorgeous. For all of our viewers that like red, Bloomquest Joel is a good one to add to your collection if that is the color that you like. This is Salmon Kiss, a beautiful peachy pink dahlia. We also have Kenora Lisa. This is a new one to us. Absolutely adore this one. This is Sylvia Craig Hunter. This is a formal decorative, large blooms, very uniform in color. She is also gorgeous. This is Jabberbox, and first I didn't really love it, but now I do. It's definitely a great combination of pink and coral tones with a little bit of yellow. Very, very prolific bloomer. And it just has a little bit of variation in its color. So you can see some of it's a little bit lighter, some of it's a little bit darker, but it really does look like somebody came out here with like a brush and just painted on these petals. So this is another really great one that we're loving this year. Didn't love it at first, but now I'm loving it. K.A. Coral C. I think this one was introduced, was it? I forget how many years ago, but this one is one of our favorites as well. Very good bloomer, the most beautiful mauvey smoky pink color. One of my very favorite dahlias. Love this KA variety right here. She is just, look at this, you guys. Look at how beautiful that is. So perfect. And gosh, we can just go on and on with all of these varieties. If you guys want, let me know down below. I can type out all of the varieties that we have. I just don't have all of them blooming to show you guys, and I really do need to come in here and tag all of them. Who are you? Look at this little cutie. Huh. I don't remember ordering this one. That's interesting. Who is that? It's tiny. I'll have to look at my list. I have an Excel sheet of all of the ones that we plant out, and sometimes when something pops up that's not supposed to be there, I always wonder, I'm like, how did you get in here? Anyways. All right, guys, I think we should end the tour here. This video is probably going to be a lot longer than I anticipated, but that's okay because I know we all go crazy for the dahlias and all of the beautiful flowers. I wanted to share with you guys how gorgeous our garden is looking right now. It is always fun when we get them planted, and then you just wait in anticipation for all of those beautiful blooms, and you try new things every year. Every year we try something a little bit new to see how it works. All of the varieties that we have here in the cut flower garden are the same ones that are out in the landscape. So I don't need to go around showing you those, with the exception of like Hapat, which you guys did see last year. I think Kelgaian is also out in the landscape. There was just a few varieties that I completely forgot to plant. And I literally put them in the ground like 3 or 4 weeks ago. Just so they can bulk up a little bit. I don't even remember. But anyways, it's one of those things that you live and you learn. Anyways, it's this time of year that I start to get excited about adding new varieties in our garden, especially because we get to visit so many different farmers and I get to see their dahlias up close and personal. And I'm like, oh, this one we don't have. And so it's always fun to bring you guys along and to bring those new varieties into our garden and start growing those out. I am hoping that this fall and this winter, everything goes to plan. And if it does go to plan, that means I will be able to sell some of our tubers this year, which I'm so excited about. I guess it would technically be next year, like late winter, early spring. I'm very excited. You guys know I have always wanted to sell our tubers. We give a ton of them out to our friends. We probably gave out, I would say close to, gosh, probably over at least 300, I would say, to family and friends and neighbors. And now it's like, okay, we are growing all of these beautiful varieties out. I do want to be able to sell them. because I think it's going to be so fun to offer you some of the beautiful varieties that we have in our garden. And I would, of course, love to just see them in your gardens. Anyways, we will definitely be doing a follow-up video with our top 10 dahlias. I'm excited to show you those. I think there's a couple of them that are on my list that are not blooming because I cut them back so hard, but that's okay because they will be blooming here in this next week. So look out for that video. It's always fun to share out my top 10 so you guys can add them to your list for your shopping list for next year. Thank you guys again so much for hanging out with me today in my garden, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.